All right. Good afternoon. My name is Terika McCall, and I'm an assistant professor at Yale School of Public Health in health informatics. So I just wanted to start first with this quote that really kind of grounds me in the work that I do. It's by B.B. Moore Campbell, and it says, "People of color, particularly African Americans, feel the stigma more keenly. In a race-conscious society, some don't want to be perceived as having yet another deficit." And she was speaking about mental health and particularly seeking care. And so this actually, quote, really resonates with me because I've, had a history of anxiety and depression, as well as many of my family members and friends. And one of the things that brought me to this work was trying to figure out how we could leverage technology to deliver culturally responsive mental health services and resources to Black women. So what is the problem? So what we know from the stats is that it's estimated that about 16% of non-Hispanic Black women experience generalized anxiety in their lifetime, and about 27% experience depression in their lifetime. We are seeing a huge issue when it comes to actually seeking care, right? So I recently actually had a survey that I conducted with about 400 Black women, and about 40% said that they needed mental health treatment or counseling within the last 12 months but did not receive it, right? So there is this unmet need there. We also conducted, in addition to the survey, focus groups with Black women who have elevated anxiety or depression. And you can see some of the quotes that came up about their anxiety. Some of them mentioned, or one person in particular talked about being the first person in their family to do a lot of things and how that causes anxiety, as well as another participant talked about trying to be perfect and not knowing how to identify some of the symptoms of anxiety and depression, and then where are the services that they could actually use. So as we had these conversations in these focus groups, what actually came about was this 3-tiered solution. They said, first I want to know, please give me the resources to self-manage. I want that to be the first step. I don't automatically want to jump to go see a therapist. So if you can provide some culturally, relatable resources for me, that'd be great. But then also they talked about the power of community and being able to communicate with other Black women who were experiencing similar things. And so they said, we want an option also to have peer support features. And then lastly, if they needed additional support, they talked about wanting to connect with a mental health professional, especially one who is a Black woman. So they said, it's really, really hard when I do want to find a therapist to actually find a Black woman who can accept my insurance, one, has availability, and also has availability. So they wanted to be able to streamline that. And so I just wanted to note that, 80% of Black women own smartphones, and so there is, a viable solution in using mobile technology to deliver services to them. So what you see here is just a sneak peek of our prototype, and I'll talk a little bit more about the features on the next slide and how they compare to our competitors. So some of you may know that Shine was recently acquired by Headspace, but they have, they're one of our more, we're one of our more direct competitors. And what you'll note from this slide is that when it comes to things like, having culturally responsive, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy components, WellSis has that. We also have daily meditations, self-care resources, including a self-care planner that actually checks in with them, a guided thought journal, peer support, and also connection to a preferred therapist. So these are all of the features that some of them are still being built into the app, but most of them are in there at this point. So the ones that are being built in, and I'll talk about that in the 6th step in the milestone, is that I talked about us having the focus groups, creating a prototype, really bootstrapped with some CS students. We kind of did this as a part of my dissertation, just on our own, no funding. And it actually tested really well for with doing formal usability testing in the lab. So we have 2 publications from this effort. So now we actually completed our sprint for our community and wellness features, and then recently received an award from Google to actually develop the culturally responsive, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy components of the app. And so we're going to plan to do that this summer, co-designing with Black women with elevated anxiety and depression and licensed mental health professionals. And so I just want to briefly talk about the business plan. So we plan to offer a free version, but also for businesses, such as insurance companies and organizations whose membership, primarily consists of Black women, offering a premium subscription to their membership in order to actually get revenue. And then lastly, I just want to present the team. I actually have a background in health informatics as well as an MBA and MPH. My team is full of health informatics professionals, UX, UI design experts, and then also experts in mindfulness-based therapy, specifically working with the Black community. And then also, lastly, we have experts in implementation of digital health tools with Dr. David Moore from Northwestern. And I think I'm not too over time. Thank you.
Just wondering how you plan to go to market and reach your target market, especially considering you're a startup, limited resources, can't rely on quick ads, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So our plan is, after we actually create the therapeutic modules this summer, to actually do a soft launch in the summer of next year. And what we're trying to do now, I'm applying for grants and hoping to get some of these funds to help with the development of this therapeutic content. And so in the summer, once we go to market, primarily through trying to get, we have one partner organization that I didn't mention, which is National Council of Negro Women, which has a reach of over 3 million Black women. So tried to partner with organizations like that, as well as, trying to have some type of big social media campaign around getting the word out. So that's just to start. But then also, we're planning to actually do some pilot testing, because beyond having just another wellness app, we want to make sure that we know that it's effective in reducing anxiety and depressive symptoms. Yeah.
I may be wrong, but my sense is that Shine was very successful around the peer counseling. Is that your sense as well?
So let me just go back one slide. So for peer support, what they had.
And then I guess the following question, which you should ask, is like, how do you make that very special and unique to you? Because I think of all the different things you've got, that feels like something that could be highly differentiated.
Right. Yeah, so their peer support primarily was allowing the users of their app to communicate. For instance, they would post, a thought of the day, and then they would communicate that way. But then they would also host, some workshops, like, for instance, they would have a therapist that would host a workshop or whatnot. But what we're planning to do is to actually allow the users to be able to communicate with each other, through the app, and then also to allow for more structured time. So, for instance, similar to Shine, where we say, we actually have an expert that's coming in to talk about this topic, to allow some conversation and community around that. And then there was also a big, and I know I'm running out of time, but they wanted to be able to meet outside of the app as well. So we're trying to figure out how to foster community outside of the app as well. Yeah.
Any other questions?
All right. Thank you for your time.